lights were on and your teachers were all there, and that's pretty much all you had to do. And you made sure you had children who were behaving, and you let the teacher go in the room and do her thing or his thing all day long. Now we have all of this accountability and oversight coming from the feds all the way down through the state and through the local. And so times have changed, and so yes, we do have probably more people in positions in the central office than we had before, but they are required because of all the data that you have to collect and send to the state or send to the feds. There are all kinds of reports that we have to do day by day, week by week, year by year. That is not something that we were expected to do years ago. Times have changed in that respect. And so we do need, and so we keep our people in the central office below 5%. We're at 3.5, 3.8. Some of those people that we designate and we call them central office people are actually resource people who go out into the schools to help principals and teachers do their jobs at a better level. We train them. We do all kinds of things to support them. So even though we use the word central office, I tease about this. Sometimes I say we are not sitting in the central office drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes. You used to could get away with that. We don't do that anymore. We have to go out to the schools. Everybody goes out and they do what they can to help the teachers and the principals out in the schools and thereby support the students. So yes, the central office looks different from what it did 20 years ago, and there's a reason for that.
Are there any other questions? Our next, well, there's a meeting following
Right,
here,
right.
and we will adjourn, and after that, the next regular meeting is June 25th at 5 o'clock. This meeting is adjourned.
And now you're gonna open up your call board meeting. You can open this one up now.
Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order.
That was a work session.
That was a work session. We are now in a called meeting, and we still have a quorum. Is there a motion to approve this agenda?
Madam President, I move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor signify by a show of hands. Okay. Dr. Moore?
Yes, ma'am. So I have three recommendations. One is to consider for approval or recommend approval of the personnel report, certified personnel.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve this?
I make a motion to approve the certified personnel report recommendation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? All in favor of approving the certified personnel minutes report, please signify by a show of hands. All those opposed? Okay. That fails. Personnel report classified.
I recommend approval of the personnel report, classified personnel.
Is there a motion?
Madam President, I move that we approve the certified support personnel.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by a show of hands. All opposed? Motion fails.
I recommend approval of the organizational chart.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the organizational chart.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the organizational chart, show by.
Wait, but can I say something?
Yes.
Is it too late?
Nope.
Is there a way that on the organizational chart, can we ask for changes, or do we have to accept it like it is?
I think we've had lots of discussions about the chart.
Okay.
and its formulation, and so this is the particular one that I'm recommending.
Okay, so if I ask, the positions that are vacant, do they need to be filled? Are they gonna stay on the chart and need to be filled, or is this up for,
They'll stay on the chart even without anyone in the position. For instance, I used last week, you were out, but I said, I think that a system this size needs a deputy, but I will not be recommending a deputy in that slot at this time because I've done that before and I can kind of shift from one to the other. But for future reference, someone might decide that they want to. You get a chance at that point to vote yes or no on a deputy. So even though it's on the chart, it's not automatic. You
So
get,
that's one spot, Hannah, the rest of them would be filled is what you told us in the last meeting.
you get to vote on whatever is recommended, as you do on all personnel issues.
okay?
So whatever's recommended as a personnel item, you get to vote on it.
Okay, and so I wasn't here, so I don't know if this was discussed last week or not, so I don't know. So I did have questions under the chief academic officer, the 3 executive directors. Do we need 3? I mean,
At some point, you might. Right now, they're vacant, and so they're not going to be brought to you as a recommendation, though there are a few on here who are vacant that we would probably recommend. For instance, the counseling person left and went to another job, and so we need someone in that position. So at some point in the near future, you would get a recommendation for a counseling person. You would also probably get a recommendation on a math person. Some of those spots, like the deputy and those executive directors, are on hold until further notice, and then at that point, you would get to vote on them. But some of them are vacant because somebody left.
okay, so by us, voting for or against, we're not voting saying that we are voting to have those vacancies filled. We're just voting on the organizational chart. I just want to be
Correct.
clear on that.
Correct. So I'll use the deputy again. If I decided that at some point, a year from now, it would be a good time to hire a deputy superintendent, then we would advertise that job. That recommendation would be brought to the board, and the board would get to vote on it.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? Those in favor of approving the organizational chart, please signify by a show of hands. And those opposed? Motion fails, and we are adjourned.